Hi, Tom Brown here, and today I want to explore some basic principles of Chin-Na. And Chin-Na means seize and control. There's several categories to your Chin-Na techniques. We're going to be exploring joint locks. And we're going to look at a technique. If you've been studying martial arts for any length of time and encountered joint locking techniques, I have a feeling you've encountered this particular technique. And then I'm going to show you a way that you can enhance the overall effect of the technique as we explore a principle that's core to all of our joint locking techniques. So let's get started and I'll show you what I mean. This particular technique, although basic to practice, to initiate, it is a little more advanced to apply because it's more of an offensive technique. Probably about 80% of your techniques might start from various grabs. It might be a wrist grab, a shoulder grab, a shirt grab, any grabs. We're going to start though, you can let go now, we're going to start with an offensive technique, or he might be reaching in and I seize him. So let's just say I have hold of his fingers. I don't care how you got there. Like I said, offense or defensive application, grabbing as he's reaching in. So I have a hold of the fingers and I'm seizing with the last three fingers. I'm illustrating that by pointing my pointer finger towards him just so you can see. And as we lock, I'm bending down and it's a pretty quick impulse to break his height and to apply this technique. Because if I go too slow, if I'm fighting a bigger person and I try to perform this slow, they're going to be able to resist. So it's a quick impulse. You'll notice the wrist action that's involved. And you'll also notice as I seize, I'm stretching him out. I don't want to do this. If I bring the fingers in fact, that makes it very difficult for me to apply the lock, and it makes it pretty easy for him to escape. So on guard, I capture the fingers. I'm stretching him out. That negates that hand a little. I'm again applying a quick impulse which controls his height. If we're standing here and I'm trying to apply the technique too slow, throw a kick, I'm in trouble. But if I go quick, you try to throw a kick now. If I lock him down, he can't kick. So that idea of a quick impulse is really important if you're going to perform this particular locking technique. And I could bring him right to the ground. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to spare him today. Now that's the basic technique. I want to show you a way that can intensify the technique and enhance the overall effect. See, in this particular instance, I'm grabbing a hold and I'm just bending the fingers. Yes, I'm stretching them out. I'm applying it quick. I could snap the fingers. It's certainly an effective technique. But if we not just bend, let's change sides to show this. If instead of just bending, because if you've practiced this technique before, I'm sure you've run into that oddball that can bend their fingers all the way back to their arm. This won't work. But what I'm going to show you, I haven't had somebody yet, I haven't had a student or somebody that would practice this with that this hasn't worked on, at least not yet. So I'm going to bend the fingers and now I'm going to twist at the same time. And those are keywords that are critical to your Chin-Na techniques, bend and twist. It's a multi-dimensional locking component now. So I'm bending and I'm twisting. So now we have insurance. If I try to lock his fingers here and that doesn't work, well, when I'm twisting in, like I said, I haven't met somebody that doesn't work on. Let's just step this way a little. Not only that, but here, what am I locking? I'm locking all of his fingers and he can resist with all of them. Here, when I start bending and twisting, it enhances the technique because now it's localized more to your pinky, is it not? And so it creates a little more pain, a little more intensity in the locking effect. So there's your tip. Very basic technique. We started with a finger lock. Then I showed you, instead of just locking, you can bend and twist. Notice I'm keeping the elbow below the wrist slightly. I'm not bringing the arm towards him. Just like with our initial lock, I didn't bring the arm in. I'm not going to bring this in towards him. I can stretch him out a little. And even with our little advanced application, I could still bring him right to the ground. It should negate that hand and break his height. So there's your technique. A couple core ideas that are critical to your success with your Chin-Na. Bend and twist. Try to apply multi-dimensional locking within your techniques. This is just one example of how we can use that concept. If you practice joint locks, look at your techniques and explore them and see if there are ways that you can adapt this idea to those techniques as well. That'll be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.